Well, good morning. Happy Friday to everyone. We got a couple people joining in. Welcome to our first team meeting masterclass. I don't know how many of you were on our forecasting and financial summer tune-up masterclass that Brandon and I did maybe a month ago, but we're glad to have you if you were there or if you're new to us. A little bit about me before I get started. I'll let everybody kind of filter in. Good morning to Ricky. I assume everyone can hear me. Will someone in the chat tell me if they can hear me? That'd be awesome. My name is Shawn. I'm one of the coaches here at Business on Purpose, and I started my career, out of college as a production builder. I carried superintendent houses through from sheetrock to homeowner walkthrough. I did a couple of years as a carpenter in the Pacific Northwest, worked under a journeyman carpenter, had some bags on per se, and then I ran a nonprofit for 12 years. So I've been kind of all over the leadership and construction space over the last 20 years and been with business. This is my first year with Business on Purpose and have loved the team. We've really got a wonderful team. So one of the things we do every meeting is do big wins. So if you've got a big win, go ahead and type it in the chat. Would love to hear what that is for you. Big wins means begin in gratitude. So we choose either personally or professionally something you are thankful for or grateful for this morning, this week. Tell me something good. I did this with my youngest sons in sixth grade. I had a carpool of 6 kids, and I did some big wins with them last night. It was super fun. It's fun to hear what kids are thankful for, what they enjoy. But go ahead and type those in your chat. Give me something you're thankful for in the next minute, and would love to read those out just to hear where you guys are. Twin daughter's 22nd birthday. Imran, happy birthday. That is awesome. 22. Hopefully you'll have a good celebration. That is awesome. Go ahead and type those big wins in the chat, and I'm going to keep letting people in. I probably shouldn't be in charge of letting people in and managing slides at the same time, but you know what? I'm going to multitask here. This is who we are. We are Business on Purpose. We are a team of 10 with 6 professional coaches, and our mission and what we wake up in the morning with a focus of doing is liberating business owners from chaos so you can make time for what matters most. That means building systems and processes, looking at efficiency, building team meetings, hiring, vision, finances, helping you run your business effectively. And so you make more money and you have more time for what matters most. That's who we are as Business on Purpose. I shared a little bit about who I was. So let's go ahead and dig into the state of the meeting. For those of you who sent me some of your frustrations and struggles in team meeting early on, thank you for sending that. But how many of you feel like team meetings are just an agendaless rambling, it's a bunch of spurts of words, a fight for your work to be seen? You're trying to jockey for position or resources. It's an us versus them mentality. Some of our meeting structures, I'm sure, are tough to work in, right? And what is running these meetings? Chaos. Chaos is running these meetings. Anything that gets talked about, anything that gets brought up, that gets set on fire, we're going to talk about. It could be SpaceX, it could be this, it could be 121 Main Street, it could be our marketing process. Everything just kind of bubbles to the surface in our team meetings. And so as we think about team meetings, we really want to have a team meeting structure that aligns our people, that aligns our work with a long-term vision, and it keeps our strategy, it keeps our implementation in focus. How are we working together to accomplish our end goal? So you may have heard us say, if you've been around the Business on Purpose crew for a while, the RPMs of great leadership are repetition, predictability, and meaning. We want to consistently do the right things with expected results so that we will be successful in our work. One of the things I was doing early on, I was doing some research into some of the most successful meetings that I've seen, and I was on YouTube and I found this clip of a very successful meeting. So I'm going to go ahead and share this successful team meeting that was run by Michael Scott.
Same thing goes for quarterly reports. They are unreadable. They're just numbers and boring and black. So what I was thinking is that maybe we should have some sort of graphic, like if we have a bad quarter, put in a storm cloud. When we have a good quarter, fireworks or a race car. Doesn't have to be a race car. Use your imagination.
There's this cube on the screen. It bounces around all day, and sometimes it looks like it's heading right into the corner of the screen, and then at the last minute it hits a wall and bounces away. We are all just dying to see it go right into the corner. Pam claims that she saw it one day when she was alone in the conference room. Okay. I believe she thinks she saw it.
I saw it. I saw it, and it was amazing. Who said I didn't see it? Did Jim say that I didn't see it? I saw it.
We have a lot of colored paper here. Why do we keep printing this on white? Yeah, I know. It's bland.
It's never gonna happen.
So here's what I was thinking. Maybe could have some sort of riddle, like something that you have to look for. Sort of a where's Waldo? Let's quit while we're ahead.
That was so awesome.
That was awesome. Thank you. Some days I am just on fire. Why?
Oh, I love it. Hopefully, didn't share my age too much with that reference. My kids like The Office too, so I think that's a good thing. But yeah, isn't that our typical team meetings where we're rallied about something, we're excited about something, and we think, oh, the whole team's with us, and maybe the whole team's with us, or maybe the whole team's really just excited about the DVD logo that's bouncing around. So before we dig into team meetings, one thing I want to set a little bit of context in is what we call our Big Five feedback loop. And a Big Five feedback loop it gives us team meetings as one prong of a five-prong strategy so that information is correctly distributed in our company, our organization. So you see team meetings at the top. Those are our how we are we working together. We're going to talk a lot about that today. We see our executive meetings over here on the left side. That's going to be on the balcony, 30,000 feet. What's the vision? What's the strategy? Are we doing the right work? Our department meetings over here on the right, those are going to be our project meetings or our business area context meetings, marketing, sales, how are our numbers, how are our KPIs. Those are going to be specific to a context. One-on-one check-ins down here, that's going to be one-on-one with your manager. It's relational. How's the person's work going? How can you help them? How can you remove obstacles to make them more successful and give them more energy? And then annual evaluations, which are a way to make sure your skills and your success and your joy are aligned with what the company needs. So we use this pretty thoroughly in our work to capture 5 different perspectives of information, which is work that needs to be done. So team meetings in the context are one component of a 5-prong successful communication loop. I tell my clients very often that these meetings, if you're scheduled and done correctly with agendas, with focus, should take no longer than 4 hours a week. I mean, how many of you can dream of 4 hours or less a week in executive meetings running what needs to be run correctly? Oh, that sounds so great. So before we do this, I'll show you some of the questions that I'm asking about these meetings. Executive meetings, is this a work worth doing? One-on-one check-ins, how do you feel about your work? Annual evaluations, is your work aligned to your skill set? Department meetings, what are the work updates? What's the update on the cabinets? What's the update on the trim in 121 Main Street? Team meetings, how are we working together? What's the communication? What's the process? How are we working together across different business lines, different functions to make sure the big vision is getting done? Most of you, 90% of the world gets married, so probably a good analogy here. Imagine you get married and you go to the service, you have a great service, and you tell your spouse, hey, that was great. I'll see you again in a week or two. And you may go back to your old house and you go about your way. And then every 2 weeks or whenever you feel like it, you think, I should probably go back to the service chapel to go reconnect with my spouse, reconnect with my new bride, my new husband, and then go talk and see where they're at, see how their life updates are going. Well, how long would you anticipate this person staying married? Probably not very long. There's infrequent face-to-face time. There's unexpected schedule, unexpected timing, inconsistent topics. You just kind of check in with what's going on. Well, you'd think that marriage is not going to go pretty well. Now, I don't want you to get married to your teammates. That's probably either a HR or an OSHA violation, but to each his own. But in the sense of having a marriage or having we're spending 50, 60 hours a week with our coworkers, we need to have right, good communication, regular connection that builds trust, that works together. So one of the things we use in our coaching is a seesaw of predictability. And so what we say is we want to ask the right questions at the right time. The right question at the wrong time would be, hey, how are we doing? What's the update of 12 Main Street's cabinets? But you're asking it Friday at 8 o'clock at night. Probably not the best time to do it. Another version of micromanagement would be the wrong question at the right time. So say you're in a project meeting, but you're asking about sales. Hey, we're talking about the project, but then you ask, hey, how are we going to grow our marketing presence in our context? Probably not the best use of those questions. So healthy leadership is asking the right questions at the right time. Team meetings are asking the right questions at the right time. Now, as we watched The Office a second ago, you may see some of these destructive bombs, I call them, of meetings. What are the destructive bombs of meetings? They are technology. How many of you are in meetings? The phone goes off, the email goes off, the Slack goes off, the kids need something, right? We're pulled away, we're distracted. Technology was supposed to help us, not hinder us. Unpredictability, asking questions, engaging with topics that are not in our purview. Number 3, cancellation. Now, cancellation may feel like a good thing because you're like, oh, finally got out of that meeting. I was not excited about that. But actually, it's taking away from your employees' trust in your ability to deliver what you say you're going to do. Off agenda, off topic bombs. Yeah, we get this a lot. How do you deal with that? We're going to talk about it. A lack of implementation. I see this quite frequently. If you don't have a way to capture accountability and expected outcomes after the meeting is over, you're going to get back to the meeting and say, oh, what did we talk about last week? I can't remember. I don't remember. Okay, then you're going to spend a couple minutes extra getting back to where you started before. So a lack of implementation. Hate it. So what are some great team meeting ingredients? What do we need to put into our team meetings that are going to make our meetings thrive? A defined outcome. This is where we're going to work this morning. I'm going to make you guys get this tool, use our template, and start working on defined outcomes. If you have a team meeting, what is the best case scenario that you're walking out of your team meeting with? Number 2, a written agenda. I shared this with a client. This is a couple months ago. I said to him, it will be really helpful to your people. You've got 10 employees. If you tell them ahead of time what you're going to talk about in your team meeting. He didn't want to. He was like, well, it's my company. I just want to tell them what I need to tell them in that meeting. They can then figure it out. I said, well, here's the challenge. A lot of your people probably really want to be prepared. They want to be ready. They want to know what's expected of them and be able to deliver. So when they come to that meeting, they know. If you give them 2 days of opportunity to prep sales numbers, to prep production numbers, to review marketing strategies, they're going to be much more helpful to you in the team meeting, and you're not going to feel like you're spinning wheels. So a written agenda ahead of time. There's view of it. No one's surprised. No one's getting, shockwave. What the heck is happening? There's very clear what's coming. Number 3, a named leader. This does not need to be the leader of the organization or the leader of the team, but there's someone accountable to holding you to your time and to your agenda. Number 4, the right voices. You need the right people at those meetings. Number 5, a schedule for completing the actions. And finally, a plan for implementation. Most of us just have the meeting and then say, go do the work. What we actually need is an intermediary step where we have the meeting, we work on what we're working on, we build a plan to implement, which is extra steps, and then we go execute. Their implementation and execution are 2 separate steps that we need to build out. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to make this a working meeting. I do not like wasting time, and I want you guys to get what you need. So I just shared a template that we've created that's going to help you to start the process of building in this intentional team meeting strategy. Can everybody get access to that? I want to just give you a second to jump in. I'm going to make sure. Yep, seeing everybody jump in. Okay, great. So this is where we're going to go, and we're going to take some time to work on this. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes. You pulled this template up, and in this template, people admitting, there we go. The first question we have is, what outcome do you want for a successful team meeting? Now, if you're on this sheet, what you need to do is go to File, make a copy, and then you can make your own copy and edit it as you need. So File, make a copy, and then save it on your drive. But the question we have is, what outcomes do you want for a successful team meeting? Begin with the end in mind, the famous Stephen Covey quote. Or if you don't have a target, you're guaranteed to hit it. what is your target? What do you want as an outcome of a team meeting? Then once we have outcomes, we can align strategies, we can align tactics to make sure those outcomes are successful. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes to think about this. I want you to think about this could be emotional outcomes, this could be physical outcomes, this could be work product, this could be strategy. What is the outcome that you imagine would drive efficiency in your work and success at building a better product? And if anybody wants to come off mute, I think that's able. If you want to share some of the outcomes that you'd like to get, I would really, or you want to share them in chat, would be happy to hear about some successful outcomes that you want. Everybody's still jumping on the tool. Don't be shy. There's no wrong answers per se, but would love some engagement here. Anybody in the chat, anybody come off mute and say what some outcomes you would want for a successful team meeting? Maybe some numbers that would change in your company, maybe some employee morale. All right, I'm going to keep going. Say that our outcome, I wrote these a couple of ideas. Say I want our team to be excited about the vision of our company. I want to have a team meeting that rallies people behind the success of our company and the long-term objective. Maybe we're a home builder and we say we want to build homes for a certain demographic and we want families to thrive, communities to thrive because of our work. Okay, our team is excited, not just that we build houses, but that we're bringing communities to life. We're allowing people to thrive in their communities. Maybe the second thing you want to think about is building relational trust and goodwill between key leaders. How many of y'all have been in meetings and you know person A and person B are not super friendly with each other? That could be a work difference, that could be a personality difference, but you know that when they get in the room together, it's not always roses and rainbows per se, right? So how would a team meeting build relational trust and goodwill between leaders? Maybe that's an outcome you want. Again, we haven't gotten to tactics on how to build this. We are just looking at what's the outcome we want from this meeting. Number 3, I want to plan events. I want to plan monthly events. That could be a realtor event. That could be a training event. That could be a whatever it might be, fun event where the workload is shared and everyone's accountable to play their part in doing a great event. Okay, that's great. So if we do these, we have answer these 3 couple questions, put 4 or 5 things down. And then what we're going to do in our tactics here, go to our next tab at the bottom left. It should be an outcomes tab and a tactic tab. Those should populate right into the gray boxes, so we don't want to change those. And then you can see how I've written a couple of things down in my idea how I would want to implement this. So if I want our team excited about the vision of our company, well, then I'm going to have to tell a story every week of how our work has made a difference in the community. So let's go back to our home building example. If we build and renovate apartments, I've got a client that does a lot of apartment renovation, and he doesn't do as much engagement with the new homeowners, but say he does. Maybe they told a story every week about a new family that's moved to their town and how they're engaged with the community. And every team meeting, we're going to spend 1 minute, 2 minutes, 90 seconds on, hey, here's one story about how your work has made an impact in the lives of others. Now, that's not a ton of time. I mean, 60-second story, 2-minute story in a team meeting doesn't take a ton of time. What does it do? But it's intentional, and it resets our perspective and our priority to say, this is what matters in the work that we do. So we're not just jumping into, hey, what are the problems on Main Street we got to figure out? What are the problems on Spruce Street? Why haven't the windows been delivered? We're thinking about what's the impact of our work as a whole, and why should that shape our next steps in our meeting. Number 2, this is what we've done in the last couple of months. Our owner, Scott, implemented this, and I think it's a really cool idea. And I hope I'm not going against what I'm saying in my earlier part of team meetings, but implementing a wonder wall, which is a whiteboard of dreams or hopes. And actually what I think this does well is when you get off topic in a meeting, okay, that's a great idea. That's not a meeting for today. Let's throw it on the wonder wall, and then in the coming months, see if that is something that will be good for us. And so that takes, the big vision of what we could do and gets it to a place that can be implemented and worked on, but not in the present meeting. So that excites people about the vision because they share in the creation of ideas, the creation of products, the creation of moving the company forward, but it doesn't take you away from the present work of the meeting. So those are 2 ideas. Okay, can we do that once a week? Can we do that every 2 weeks. Great. Let's just schedule this time and know that every 2 weeks we're going to talk about a story. And then every fourth week, we're going to talk about our wonder wall, right? So we have now planned and implemented how to make a long-term big outcome practical with very simple tactics here. Here's another one: building relational trust and goodwill between key leaders. We do this by sharing big wins in the chat. We did that 10 minutes ago, right? Let's share some big wins. Let's share some stories. We do this with our coaches on Monday. We share a business big win. Hey, tell us something about how your clients are doing, or a big win you've seen in business this week. And then on Tuesday mornings, our team meeting, we share personal big wins. Hey, my kid went to middle school. Hey, we won the trophy, XYZ. We've got so much awesome team camaraderie just from learning from what's happening in each other's lives. Did I do that? That was cool. All right. Share research pain points for communication and workflows that make it hard for two teams to work together. This could be an action item on the side. I'm realizing that our workflow doesn't allow us to best for these two people to interact. So actually our structure, it's not just personalities of these people that are challenging, it's the team structure that's not working well. They both operate really well when they're working individually, but they're sitting next to each other, and that's a challenge. Well, let's think about that. Okay, add this workflow to next week's meeting. See, let's think about tactics to build these long-term objectives. Question 2, did I do that squiggly? That's pretty cool. Maybe somebody else did that. What text will get to this outcome? All right, so there we go. So that's the brief summary of our team meeting structure and how we want to think about team meetings. Again, this is the way to think about team meetings. Next week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through all of our ingredients that we use to build a team meeting. So I don't want to leave you on the hook. I wanted to keep time tight, but I do want to emphasize we want to look at outcomes, we want to look at tactics, and then we're going to look at what do we do to get those outcomes to become a reality. So those are the ingredients. So we're going to talk about that next week. See, Adriana, understanding the importance in communicating when there are changes in the scope of work. Awesome. Doris, team leaves our training time understanding better how to support our customers. Engage conversation about training as well. Awesome. Tanya says, people share their takeaways from the meeting to ensure the message, ideas, topics were received. Awesome. I love that. We see. Monica, not to spend 30 minutes reviewing what we talked about last meeting and make them useful. Great. Love that, guys. That's great. And Joel says, entire team understands this group's big picture commitments beyond just what each individual has on their plate. Love that. It's great. So I will share one more tool, one more template. Let me see if I can do this while on the call. So just unshare. Actually, I'm not going to do that because I'll probably end the meeting and y'all will be like, why did you cancel the meeting? So this is our hope for you guys to build out really successful team meetings and to have outcomes that align with your long-term vision objectives. So here's what I want y'all to do. First of all, I want somebody to tell me why I can't get rid of the red thing on my screen. Secondarily, I would like you guys to spend the next 30 minutes defining your outcomes and your tactics. So I want you to put 4 to 6 outcomes that you want from a team meeting. Again, this is the pre-work before we build an agenda, before we put the names down, before we fill in an agenda of what we want to happen in a team meeting. We need to define what it is that we want to get out of our team meeting. What is it that we want people to experience? What is it for the good of the company? So spend the next 30 minutes on your own or with your team talking through what is it that we want outcomes and what are the tactics that we're going to use to get those outcomes. Next meeting, next Friday at 11, I will spend a significant amount of time doing work on the then ingredients that we add to the soup per se of the team meeting: the chicken, the celery, the stock, the oregano, all of the proper ingredients that are going to make a really great team meeting. One thing we offer, and I'll offer this to you guys as in the next 30 minutes, if you're a primary owner of your business and you're more than $1 million in revenue with more than 3 employees, we're going to offer a couple of free consulting times that we can listen to your team meeting structure and or outcomes and offer you some suggestions on how you might better efficiently get those outcomes. So if you'd like to take that time and you fit these characteristics and you have a desire to grow, go ahead and drop your email in the chat and I will connect you with either myself or one of our other coaches in the next 30 minutes, and you guys can have a little bit more personal dialogue. We've got some other options for you guys if you're under $1 million in revenue, and I'll share those next week on some more specific coaching options and some tools. But if you're interested in that, drop your name and your email in the chat. I'm happy to reach out to you, and myself or one of our coaches would reach out to you in the next few minutes. But I will keep y'all's time under consideration. And I think that I wanted just to get you guys a sense of outcomes and tactics. So let's go work. And as we always say, vision without implementation is hallucination. So we need to implement and use what we've heard today to better resource our company. So thank you all for jumping on. And again, if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat or reach out to us. My email is Shawn, SHAWN, @mybusinessonpurpose.com. Y'all have a great Friday. Thanks all.